What's going on, everybody? Gustave the 13th here with another video as we actually scored us the Hi-Nu Gundam from the anniversary. So, as you already know, it is a 700 cost general suit. Pretty decent stats and very interesting mobility on this thing. Unfortunately, we did not do the full step up. I may or may not try to get to a point where I can actually get that so I can grab the extra part and the bazooka. But right now we are going to be just focusing on the beam rifle. So the beam rifle itself actually does have an instant stun. It's 2600 power with a heat rate of 75. Keep in mind, of course, like some of the other stuff like the new and Hi-Nu. Not ammo based. In fact, I'm a little bit curious. This might be a bit of a detour, but hold on. Let me see something. Yeah, so also heat rate, but this also, when it first fires, it's like a burst and then you go into the charge when you actually hold it. In this case, it's the opposite. In this case, you actually do a regular shot for the neutral, and then when you charge, it does rapid fire and nail stuff. So pretty nice. But this, funny enough, despite all the other shit you're seeing here, all this junk, the bigger payoff is actually from the beam saber itself. Hi-Nu G beam saber, nothing super crazy, almost 3k damage, cooldown downtime of 2. The multipliers for the downswing and all that are actually pretty potent, and even the neutral itself. This is a very strong kind of vibe check when it comes to hitting other suits at this cost range, depending on what you're attacking. Some of them tend to have at least a little bit more moderate melee defense on them, but I would say most often than not, you're gonna have a lot of people focus on throwing down more beam defense just because of all the range punish going on. So you're actually getting some pretty decent gains out of it. That being said, let's look at the stats for this in a second, because if you notice a certain something, we're going to talk about that in a second. But you know, let's try to focus a little bit here. The Vulcans actually do have some good accumulation. The one thing that kind of irks me a little bit, and I don't know why, maybe it's just a lore thing, but the shield mounted beam cannon, or the shield itself, has the beam cannon but not the missiles like the regular new does, which is a little bit unfortunate. You don't have as much accumulative stun or just quick things to throw out. That being said, the funnels to a certain degree do make up for it. The rush fire on here, very good. And we have something a little bit different. The fin funnels actually have a support thing, which means you can actually lock these on to a person, log on to a friendly unit, then release the attack button to temporarily deploy weapons near that unit. These offer support fire at regular intervals, pairing with weapons to inflict damage, other than tackles, counters, or second weapons. Pressing the reload button after use will cancel funnel support mode. So yeah, you can put these over somebody, they'll hover over them, and they'll fire when they try to attack things and whatnot, which is really nice. A little bit of extra firepower and chances for stun, things like that. And of course you have your funnel defense. Very nice. Large seal here with 6500 health as well. To be honest, I would actually, and I do for my shortcuts, keep this on a face button because the accumulation, stun accumulation for these is ridiculous. It's actually really good. The shield mounted beam cannon, to be honest, at 1700, it's mostly just there for an extra stun if you can catch them lacking. But yeah, you're mostly doing these, trying to get the rush down, because there is a skill that's actually put in here with the focus fire and all that in mind. We'll get to that in a second. But for now, let's talk about the stats. So like I was trying to hint at before, let's go down here to health is at 20k. This also does have 2 priority, just before you think it's got something super crazy. And also space compatibility. Ballistic resistance is at 30. Beam resistance. Oh, beam resistance. Beam resistance, for whatever godforsaken reason, is at 16. Now, there's some speculation as to why this is. Some people are saying this because they needed to give it some sort of Achilles heel so that it didn't completely outclass the regular new. I would argue that a lot of other things tend to have more range punish and stuff like that anyway. I would say that if they did this mostly so that it wasn't completely crazy out of the box. You can punish Hi-Nus pretty badly when it comes to that, just because it's a vibe check, right? You either try to use that extra space on the long range to give yourself more output for your midlining before you get in with your melee, or you sacrifice that to get at least some sort of comparable amount of beam defense on it, because they're not going to max it out unless you try really, really hard. You're definitely going to have to sacrifice something just so that you don't immediately get melted by all the beams that are going to be spat out at you, not only by other suits, but by other Hi-Nus. This is another suit where it's one of its bigger weaknesses is fighting itself. But moving on down the line, we also have melee resistance at 32. definitely trying to encourage you to go in a little bit by keeping that around the same as the ballistic. Range strength is at 30, melee strength is at 40, so a different kind of tilt there despite all the mid-range stuff going on. Movement speed's at 130, top speed is at 220, thruster gauge is at 80 flat, and turning speed is at 78. Now, the build that I have for this is kind of goofy. I have a lot of just extra auxiliary parts and shit on here. I wouldn't really recommend this. I tried to put some more anti-beam on here just because I didn't want to get like blown up around a corner right away. But to be honest, the melee on this is pretty nice. You can probably rearrange this more. Cycle frame's still good if you want to get those lock-ons faster. This just gives you 3% for your attack and your damage and your defense across the board, which is nice. And of course it jacks up after the first 4 minutes of the match. But in general, I would almost suggest trying to get some more thruster on this, and you'll see why in a second when we move on to the skills here. But also, yeah, the part slots, we got 17 for close, medium range is 20, and long range is 16. But yeah, moving on to the parts, we have leg shock absorber level 4, anti-blast stabilizer level 1, emergency evasion system level 3, which is actually pretty good. Flap booster level 2. So we got flap boosters. This thing can actually go vertical, start doing some other crazy maneuvers. That in tandem with your flight control programs and all this other stuff means that you can boost around while you're up there as well. Keep in mind that depending on where you are directed and where your last like boost oriented you, that you're not gonna be able to turn 360. You can't have like full range of motion, so you're gonna stop when you're trying to aim. You really do have to aim more with your body than anything else. High spec ambac for space. We got maneuver armor level 1. Kind of feels like it might be a little bit more, but let's be honest, some other suits at this cost, even 4 stars, don't have maneuver armor without them having to pop some sort of mode on the unicorn. So a little bit unfortunate there, but for us, not bad. Force injector level 4. Definitely like you to be zooming and zooming around in this suit. High performance balancer level 1, high performance radar level 2, melee combo controller level 1, second weapon buffer, which is at level 3 for both of this and the special back. So the back and the Psychemy are not going to take that many hits. It's going to be 30% reduction on that. It also has its own cycle frame resonance, much like the Sazabi in the new, which is nice. And the... wait, what does that say? Hold on a second. Is this different? Only at the point of skill activation. No. Okay, no, that's fine. High performance counter program level 2. So it has a special counter when it pops its resonance. And the nice one, the new boy here, full attack. But now I'm gonna say that this is something that the regular new should have too. It's a little bit weird because full attack to me is the concept of like all range attack. You put out your funnels, you try to accrue a bunch of stuff, and we'll read down the description real quick. When a Psychemu weapon is in use, both your mobility and the damage you deal for enemy mobile suits with non-Psychemu weapons will increase. When engaging units with offensive or defensive Psychemy weapons, these effects will not be applied. Now, supposedly, that last part isn't quite accurate. It still does apply. It's just a little bit different. But let's go over the other stats here for the enhancement list. So we get +1 to melee for the first one, +100 to shield, +100 to unit HP, complex expansion once again at the very end for 3940, and then the unlockables have +5 to melee modifier and reduces melee damage to mobile suit HP by 5% when toppled. So overall, not bad. Definitely more so about some of the skills in the kit, because it doesn't really have too many overwhelming stats in and of itself, like at baseline. But let's take this bad boy for a spin real quick. I also need to make sure that I'm on the right equipment set. Yeah. Okay, good. And we'll check it out in the practice room before showing off a match in this. Alrighty. So, let's go down the line here for the weapons. Single stun there, like we were talking about before, and the charge up here actually does a pretty good burst. Moving on to the Vulcans, check out that accumulation. Like, that's not bad. That's pretty much a quarter or so. We're at 39 out of 60 for that. Pretty good. I would assume with that amount of accumulation, you can maybe get 3 if you actually focus them all on one person. But look at that neutral for the melee on this for the GPO one. That was 3k. Now we can do another example here with the rush. So while these are out, You're talking about 3604 for that neutral, so it does, your damage does go up while those are out and doing their thing. Pretty much the epitome of doing an all range attack and just trying to throw out as much damage as possible, which is something that, I'm gonna be honest, most suits should probably have if they have funnels. It's a little bit weird that there has to be like a special sort of thing for this, but moving on. Got flaps in action here. Not bad. Keep in mind, and this is something that I learned the hard way a couple times when I was messing around, mostly because I don't do a lot of flap suits myself, that if you do the hard descent... Actually, hold on. You can't undo it. You're just kind of stuck going down. It's a big commitment for that movement. The beam cannon itself, as you can see, just another stun. Not crazy output. Pretty flat in terms of damage. The support we can't really show off here because we don't have any allied units, but you'll see it in the match that we show off. And then of course you got your fin funnel stuff. This will take a decent amount of hits before dissipating. To be honest, and I don't think they'd ever do this, to be frank, but it would be cool if they actually let you use that as the support as opposed to the shot, but the shot's still cool. Alright, so the last thing, last but not least, right, we'll check out some of the damage here, and actually I wanna show you guys some of the damage from the so the neutral itself, pretty gross, right? You're talking about 3994 on this guy. The downswing is even more fallacious. Is almost fallacious. Oh my god, hellacious at fucking 6k. That's a different word. But not bad damage with that. Of course, you can also do more stuff with the full attack. The bigger bread and butter for you trying to blast down bases with this suit is actually going to be the charge shot for this, especially since it's energy based. You can, I wouldn't cancel it like that. I did it a little bit too fast there, but like that's a good chunk. Like you can actually get into range with this and finish it off if you've got like a little bit of a sliver. So you can actually contribute pretty well with this. Yeah, I would assume outside of doing the occasional charge shot or whatever, you're probably still going to be vanguarding a little bit. But it is doable. You can, you know, do some good damage with that. Also, the fact that you can, the multiplier for that really doesn't apply too much is pretty gross. Now, that being said, a lot of these suits aren't suits you're going to be seeing at 700, which is why we do the matches and stuff. And then, of course, they're going to have different parts on like you typically would too. So, with that in mind, let's move on to our next segment where we show off this in a match where actually we had someone else in our round that might be a little bit familiar to you guys. And we'll put that in right around here. So it feels like they got the features mixed up between the two platforms.
Prepped and ready for battle.
I don't know how I feel about that, big brain. And I'm a little bit afraid for those two raids, but if they get super aggro, we might be okay. I gotta remember that the burst on this bitch actually is still gonna stun. I think they all stun. Oh boy. You know, without the extra red, this seems a little bit weird. Also, that blue's in the wrong place. The paneling is very rarely kind to me when I want to do the fucking Gus colors.
Commencing operation.
Oh, what's that? Someone sent something out already. Oh, they got a big boy out there. Look at that. Oh, oh, mama. Okay. Oh wait, I can fly. Get me out of here. Oh god. Hey, stop. Stop. No. No, no, no.
Allied unit destroyed.
Serenity from sleep. Uh-oh. Well, hopefully you're able to get a little bit EP. Oh shit.
Allied unit destroyed. Heavy damage.
Let's go, baby.
Allied unit destroyed.
Ah shit. No. No, no, no.
Your unit's been destroyed.
Suddenly all of his friends. Yep, we got the Hi-Nu on our main account.
An ally has destroyed
The good news is that we got the Hi-Nu. The bad news is that we got it on our main account.
How will you redeploy? The supporting
Where my rating will probably most likely very much be in danger.
The enemy has captured a beacon.
Trying to mess around with this thing. Oh wow, she dropped.
An
She's trying to
ally
grab
is
D.
Requesting support.
Oh shit.
Get out there and try again.
He dropped the suit. He's our support.
An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit.
We got another guy out here. What is this guy? See that? What the? Oh, he's underneath. I was like, what is that little boost line?
Enemy mobile suit.
I need to put more boost on this, actually. Ah, the thing fucking flipped me.
Destroyed an enemy mobile suit.
Ah, he went under. Get that ass.
Enemy unit down. Well done. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit.
Oh, he's already down. Hold on. Let's try to hassle this guy. See how we can do some damage on here.
The enemy base is under attack. The enemy base is taking significant damage. Just a little more and the enemy base is done.
It's a little bit early. We can stop for now. Although we might get a lot of incidental fire going on since we're so close.
Allied unit destroyed. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit. Looks like things are going our way. Taking heavy damage, pilot. That mobile suit. An ally has destroyed an enemy mobile suit.
Uh-oh. Ugh.
Your unit's been destroyed. Allied unit
Oh my god, he's actually playing. Should go over to Hobo and be like, I got that Hi-Nu, how about you? You know what the fucked up thing is that he probably does have it. Although, he hasn't been here, so maybe he hasn't. There's still a pretty strong chance.
Allied unit destroyed.
Alright. Yeah, screw it. So, oh, he dropped back. He dropped back there.
2 minutes left.
To the hobo wound.
Bases are more valuable for this mission. Get out there and try again.
Hit the body. Yeah.
An ally has destroyed an entity. Long-range supporting fire incoming.
Right up in there.
Supporting fire complete. The supporting fire did heavy damage to the enemy. Now's your chance.
Oh. Oh my god, I keep getting stunned on my fucking melee. Stop it. Let me do it.
Well done. 1 minute left. Bring that victory home.
Oh, we got Jack. Okay.
Destroyed an enemy mobile suit.
Yeah. Actually, hold on. We got something to do still. And I think one realized too.
Taking heavy damage, pilot. You all right? Base destroyed. An ally has the mission is over. Enemy unit down.
Gotta be thorough.
Incredible work, team.
Oh, I should have thrown one on Yugu too, because they were running around a lot. So they lost somebody at some point. I don't know if they lost them really early, or if they lost them late. Either way,
Praise for that battle.
that was a rough run for the enemy team.
Here are your rewards for this battle.
So that was our round in the Hi-Nu. I think that was actually our first round too. Now, prior to this, before we had gotten it, I've been running around in stuff like the Sinanju and a couple other suits at 700. It wasn't the worst to deal with, but man oh man, do you feel some of the crazier output when people focus you with the like the rush funnels and stuff like that. It definitely has a lot of pressure that it can exert. How appropriate, right? But in general, let me know how you guys have been faring with this thing, or if you have been having to deal with it a lot of matches. Overall, I think it's not as overwhelming as it could have been, which, to be honest, considering what it can do, that's probably for the best. Them kind of keeping it back with being a more focused kind of suit is actually pretty nice. So it will be interesting to see how these contribute during clan matches, especially since they can still do a decent amount on their own while mostly being there just to, you know, back up and open for bigger things. Running this in tandem with the FF New, so the Rage version, is actually really good, because that actually has a lot of really potent attacks. Not to mention the funnels on that are actually pretty aggressive, let alone just running in for the heavies and whatnot. So we'll probably see a lot of really full tilt aggressive teams out there, and hopefully it maintains pretty well. I am a little bit afraid, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little bit afraid to see how well or not well the Nightingale does by comparison when we get that probably this week. But we'll see. It might not be the worst. I feel like them giving it to be the raid may or may not make or break that suit. I don't know how hard it's gonna get raid taxed, especially since it didn't seem like it really had a what's it called, a heavy attack, but it does have two different melee attacks from what we saw in that old stream, and it's probably gonna have like the full attack thing and all that other stuff going on, so it'll have probably more range stuff going on. Especially when, and to note again, this has really piss poor beam defense right out of the gate. You really do have to try to doctor it yourself if that's something that's concerning you. So they might actually give the Nightingale itself just a lot of beam output to try to punish it at like mid to long, and then just finish it off with the sabers. Mostly because outside of them buffing the bell pepper, there's still not really a lot of supports running around at this cost. So the saying that it's gonna do that to the Hi-Nu and then go do its job is like, no. Its job is to out prioritize this thing and hopefully punish it at range before finishing it off with its stuff in priority. It's not gonna really have a lot of supports to fight. So we'll see how it turns out. The bigger thing for that is that it's going to be another token sync, because you know it's going to have another 7-step banner and probably some special part or whatever like we did for this one as well. So good luck to anybody who spins for that. Good luck to anyone who's also still trying to spin for this while it's available. And until next time, this is Beast on the 13th. I'll talk to you all in the next one.